All right, folks, we are wrapping up the final day of practice for the FLW Tour on Lake Cherokee. This one presented by Lowrance. I've got FLW Tour rookie Tyler Woolcott with me. You're sitting top 20 in points.
Heck yeah.
You're crushing it. And you've actually been here before.
Yeah.
I guess, tell me a little bit about last time and then what's going on now.
Well, it's a little different this time. I fished a bass college tournament here last year. And when I got here last year, I spent a lot of time on the lake, but the water level was a lot higher and it was a little bit later in the progression of the spawn, so to say. There was still a couple up, but it was mostly post-spawn, and it was a little bit different than this time, for sure.
All right. Now, you've been out there 3 days. Do you feel like we are hitting it mostly pre-spawn, mostly spawn? Like, where does that sort of line sit, do you think?
From what I've seen, I think it's full-blown. I think we hit it perfect with the weather situation. I just don't know. This place doesn't, it's a pretty big area, so to say, but fish is pretty small. There's a lot of boats everywhere. And I don't know how, I mean, I can go out there and catch a ton of fish. I just don't know how well the boat pressure is going to handle.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's a little bit smaller, I think, than Beaver Lake.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't know if you ever fished an event there. You might have as a co-angler, but we fished a ton of events at Beaver, and it's one of those places where the pressure can get to a little bit. It's not the size body of water where guys can just be everywhere and not see each other.
Yeah, I mean, last year, like when I'm going to mention that college tournament again. Last year, it was the same thing. You go out and catch a ton of fish in practice, and as soon as all them boats got out there and really started fishing for them, it got a lot tougher. So I'm curious to see how the tournament goes. I think there's a lot more fish catchable now than there was last year as well. So
okay. Well,
we'll
I
see.
like the sound of that.
Yeah.
More catchable fish is better. Have you kind of delved at all into the smallmouth, largemouth difference? Have you tried to target largemouth or tried to target just smallmouth, or what have you done?
Yeah, I mean, I've been spending most of my time on smallmouth because I think that's where like the consistent bite's going to be. I think that's where I think I can catch the better quality most consistently, so to say. I mean, I think I can go up and catch some largemouth, but I just think they're getting hammered so hard. It's harder to catch a bunch of them consistently.
With the water being down, do you think that hampers the largemouth bite just because the amount of cover that they can get on is so limited?
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing is the largemouth bites I did get, well, it's not weird, but the largemouth bites I did get was on something weird, like in a pocket or something, like on a bank. It's just something out of place, and it's just easy to target them. So I just feel like I think someone's gonna smash a big bag of largemouth, but it's gonna be really hard to do it a couple days in a row.
Yeah, that's what seems to be the consensus, that you're gonna need to at least mix in, or maybe even have mostly smallmouth or all smallmouth to win this thing, just based on that consistency.
Yeah, I mean, in prior years, that's like big tournaments, that's usually how it's won, is smallmouth. But usually there is, if you can catch a big bag of largemouth and then go do smallmouth, that'd be pretty cool.
For sure. The water's been rising a little bit every day, so that could definitely maybe sort of bury some beds, but have you been able to actually see any fish on beds or look for any, or is that not necessarily part of your game plan?
I went and looked a little bit today. I didn't see enough to go and spend a lot of my time doing it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
You're going to leave him for John Cox.
Yeah, we'll see. John will probably go and smash him, but...
He always does, though. I mean, anywhere.
When it sets up like this, I think John should do well. We'll see, though.
All right. Well, Tyler, thanks for stopping by. Good luck out there.
Heck yeah.
For sure. All right, folks, we are rolling along. Got Miles Berghoff, second in AOI, and you're like crushing the Rookie of the Year race right now.
Well, you know, we've still got 3 tournaments to go, and anything can happen. You know, you just have to keep fishing clean, and I have to make good decisions in the next 3 tournaments.
You told me a minute ago that you weren't comfortable here, or that this was like out of your comfort zone, which... You've caught them everywhere this year, so I'm not seeing how anything is out of your comfort zone. Tell me about that.
I think one of my weaknesses is really smallmouth in this kind of Highland Reservoir type environment.
Okay.
And you know, here on Cherokee Lake, it's really all about getting a few smallmouth bites a day, because they're consistently bigger fish. And there's not a ton of largemouth, and there's not really that many big spots in this lake either. So it's really important to get the smallmouth, and I just don't have as much experience with it. I have experience up north with smallmouth, not a ton, but these are a totally different beast. they kind of act differently just because the contours of the lake are different, the environment's completely different, and so it's just it's something that I'm not familiar with, and it's something that I'm trying to adjust to, but also kind of keep myself where I feel comfortable.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a good point, because when you think about it, there aren't a ton of tournament fisheries in the South that are smallmouth fisheries.
Right.
You go up north and they always play.
Right.
And really, other than Cumberland and maybe here, those are maybe the only lakes down here where consistently guys win tournaments on smallmouth. I mean, Brian Thrift did it last year with 20 smallmouth.
Right.
And like, it wasn't a surprise. And when this thing gets won, it's not going to be a shock if the winner has 20 smallmouth, you know?
It wouldn't surprise me at all, you know. And really, the only reason we don't see lakes like this, you know, in the tour usually is because we don't come to East Tennessee fishing, you know, lakes, you know, like Dale Hollow and lakes like that. If you look at BFLs in Eastern Tennessee fishing the mountain or volunteer division, you see a lot of you see a lot of tournaments that are won with all smallmouth.
Yeah, like Center Hill, Tim's Ford,
right.
like those are lakes that are kind of like this.
Exactly, and so there's a lot of really good smallmouth lakes around here, and I really should have. You know, the funny thing is that we've talked about it before, where I like fishing all these different BFL tournaments and tournaments all around the country, just so I can get familiar with different things. But one thing that I realized that I've done that I've kind of failed on is like fishing the mountain division and the volunteer division. Is I've always focused on largemouth. I should have gone for the smallmouth and just went for broke on those and learned them a little bit more. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with now, and I'm kind of catching up here on Cherokee.
All right, well, I think probably about 80% of the time, maybe more, that's not going to bite you. But now we're here. Smallmouth are going to play. You said you've been kind of looking for those smallmouth. If you have a tournament you make good decisions and everything goes your way, do you figure that you're weighing in all smallmouth? Do you think that you'll weigh in a combo? What's your situation?
I've got a strategy. And for this tournament, I feel decent about it. I feel like I can get enough keeper bites to get a limit each day, and it's just really, you know, it depends on how big they are. Obviously, that's kind of obvious, but it
shocks me. That your weight will depend on how big your fish are.
Right. But so I've got a strategy where I'm probably going to weigh in 2 or 3 smallmouth a day, and then all the rest are going to be largemouth, maybe spots. Hopefully not spots, because that means that I have a smaller bag. There's some bigger ones in here. I've caught like 2.5 pounders this week.
Okay, that's pretty solid, actually.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we've talked a little bit, this lake is not a huge lake. There's definitely going to be a fair amount of pressure applied to some of the best areas, and it's got a lot of fish in it. But do you foresee this being a tournament of adjustments where maybe not every day, but definitely by the weekend, you've got to do something different?
I tell you what, I'm going to be moving faster than I have all year long. I mean, the first 3 tournaments were hole sitting tournaments, and then Grand Lake was kind of a pattern type fishery. This, for me, the way that things have set up for me, because I haven't found like 1 or 2 stretches that are just loaded. Like, I literally have to work for them and just fish what looks good, and finally was able to figure out how to get them to bite today, the brown fish. So it's going to be, I'm probably going to fish about 100 spots a day. Like, I'm going to be, I ended up, because I blew my inflatable PFD up at Grand, so I went out and bought another one, because I didn't want to have to deal with taking that on and off all the time. So I just, bit the bullet, bought another one. So it's all about efficiency. I think that's really going to be key for at least my tournament. All
right. Last question. You're second in AOI. You're like it's not even like Terry Bolton has a huge lead. Like, you're in the thick of this thing. How does it feel?
We're chipping away at it. It feels great right now. So I'm glad that I'm talking to you before this event, because if it doesn't go my way, I'm glad I'm talking about it right now. But it's
a long season. We're not giving anybody the award yet.
Right. Yeah, but as of right now, since we're officially past the halfway point of the season, I feel very fortunate fortunate that really everything has gone my way. I've made really good decisions, just fish with my gut, and really haven't lost any key fish. So it's definitely shaping up to be a season that is meant for me, and but it really just still requires a lot of hard work and good decision making, and then learning how to net fish. I'm still terrible at netting fish. I didn't net a single one at Grand, which I probably should have.
You just got to practice.
Right.
Serious. I'm dead serious. I've been practicing landing fish without nets, and all you got to do is just keep doing it, and you get better at it.
Right. I absolutely have to. I need to get out on Chickamauga and obviously after the tournament, and I
mean, look, it's the off day tomorrow. If you want to run down, be my guest.
Oh, that's true.
It's not that far away.
Right. I think it's already off limits. Is it?
I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm not even going to risk it. But anyways, I do need to learn how to net these fish a little bit better.
All right. Well, man, good luck out there.
Hey.
And great fishing so far.
Hey, thanks, man.